New week, new episode, woo! And today's episode is about fats. In a low carb, high fat diet, as a ketogenic diet, it can be very good to have all these terminology in order. So today I'm going to talk about fats. It might be a good idea to have all these words and stuff in order so you know what they mean. Stay tuned into the end of this video. In the end, I will give you some really hands-on advice for you so you know how you can balance your omega-6 and omega-3 balance, because that is very important to have in your mind and have control over. The first thing I want to tell you is kind of basic. A rule that you should have in your mind during the whole video and in your life is that natural fats is healthy and unnatural fats is unhealthy. And I will tell you why. So what is natural fats? You can divide it into 3 different groups. You have saturated fats, monosaturated, and polysaturated fats. These 3 groups is very important to know what it is, because it's like the basic of a ketogenic and a low carb diet. We start with the group 1, and that is saturated fats. Saturated fats coming mainly from animal sources. So like meat and butter is a saturated source. So you can also find saturated fats like in coconut oil and coconut. You can also find it in dairies products. So the saturated fat is very good because it's very stable, so you can heat it up. So it's suitable for you if you like fry something, so you heat it up. For the past like 30 years or so, we have got like warnings from the government and people around us that we should be careful with saturated fat, that they creating cancers and it get you heart disease and everything. But I want to tell you that it's not the case. In recent studies and studies with good quality, there have found no proof that it is actually dangerous for you to eat as natural as like meats and stuff like that. The second group of fats is unsaturated fats. So what is unsaturated fats? These kind of fats is very sensitive to heating, so you shouldn't be heating them. You can find it in sources like nuts and olive oil and avocado and stuff like that. And it's a very important source to get fats in. If you heat this kind of fats up, they will be unstable, and you need stable fats to build up your cells. So please be careful with the olive oil when you fry it in your pan, when you fry food in your pan and using olive oil, because it will be unstable and it will oxidize. The third group of fats that you need to have in your mind is polysaturated fats. Polysaturated fats is containing fats that is essential. And what does essential mean, might you ask yourself? It is essential fat is fats that you can't produce yourself. Your body can't produce it yourself. So it means that you need to get it in from the food you're eating. So it's very important to have a balance between omega-6 and omega-3 that is in this polysaturated fats and essential fats. Omega-3 you can get from fat fish, for example, and omega-6 you get from all these kind of veggie oils, and they have a high content of omega-6 fats in it. The core thing here is to have a good ratio between omega-6, that is inflammatory and comes from vegetable oils, the ratio to the omega-3 balance, that is reducing the inflammatory. The body is producing from these essential fats a signal substance that is called Okay, I don't know. I don't want to pronounce it. Either way, it's a signal substance that is very important for your function. If you're eating a like modern diet with a lot of corn and a lot of grains and stuff like that, your balance is going to be destroyed between omega-6 and omega-3. You're going to have a lot of inflammatory in your body, and that is going to really affect your health. So the best way to solve this problem is to do a low carb diet, and often also a ketogenic diet if you have a really high inflammatory in your body. You want to do that, and you want to get sources from like grass-fed beef, so you don't get this meat that is fed with corn, and the cow also have a high ratio of omega-6. If you eat eggs from chicken that have been fed with corn, they also is going to have a high concentration of omega-6. So over to the hands-on tips I want to give to you to fix this ratio. So first, make sure that you eat grass-fed beef, as I said. Look where it's coming from, that it haven't been fed with corn. The second thing is to eat fat fish that isn't fed with corn. Third thing is to eat, if you buy egg, you should buy free-range organic eggs. The last thing is that you should be thinking about using olive oil and rapeseed oil that have a good balance already between omega-6 and omega-3. So the last group of fats that I haven't mentioned yet is trans fats. And trans fats is very bad for your body. It's a fat that have been reproduced with like heating and chemical reactions to be another fat that it wasn't from the beginning. So this group is mainly for to increase the sustainability of a product like cookies or stuff that you buy in the store, so it can have a longer period of goodness. Do you say that? I don't know. So you can eat it for a longer period of time. The trans fat is very bad because they have taken a fat, like some sort of oil, and then they have with industry processes redone it to a totally different kind of texture and kind of fat. So the whole fat change have been changed, and it's like a puzzle that isn't fitting into your body. So it's like margarine and everything that they put in small cookies or whatever industry food that will like be similar to butter, but it's a cheaper way for them to create and sell something. To the end point is that I want to tell you that fat isn't making you fat, but the science says that carbs actually do you fat. I want to end to ask you, I'm thinking to do a live broadcast about sugar addiction. Is this something you would love to see and see me talking about in a lesson? Please hit me in the comment with a suggestion and let me know what you think of that. That was everything I had for today, guys. Hope you enjoyed this. Please hit the like button below and make sure you subscribe for good vibes.